Ladies and gents, what's chillin'? It's Davis or Howland, and I've got another ranking video for you absolute legends. I just ranked my favorite fighting games, and so now we're going to be ranking my favorite fighting game characters. Now, I've got a few prefaces to preface. First, I've made this more of a tier list styled video so that it's easier for everyone to follow, and because I don't want to spend forever editing in gameplay for each entry. Second, this video has been in the works for over a year now, and the issue has always been that as I play more fighting games, I end up discovering new characters that I once again have to rank. I know I'll have future characters I want to include as well, but they aren't here right now, so I'm biting the bullet and I'm drawing the line in the sand at this moment. And then the last thing is about the criteria, which is extremely random. Some of these characters I love because of their non-gameplay stuff like visual design and lore. Some I love because of how successful I've been with them. Some I love because I have hundreds of hours of memorable experiences. There's not a one-size-fits-all metric happening here, and you'll understand as we get into it, but let's just go ahead and dive deep in. All right. So before I had over 50 fighters to rank, and they're all still included here, but instead of me dedicating a paragraph to each and trying to figure out why number 37 is better than 38, instead I'm going to be shouting out some honorable mentions, and I have several categories that are kind of like tiers. This first is my forgotten favorites, which are characters that I played long before my balls dropped. It was also when I was a filthy casual, so there's not a whole lot of insight that I can give, but going through it, quick shouts to Smash Bros. Brawl Wario. That was my guy and my go-to main in any Mario game. Also, all of these characters that you see right here are from Smash Bros. Brawl, which was my main Smash game growing up. This next group is from Injustice 1, and we've got Joker, Lobo, Nightwing, Aquaman, and Deathstroke. These were all mains for me at some point, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I only played them because they were cool. Gun to my dong, though. Favorite character was Deathstroke. He was sick, and I need him in Injustice 3. Okay. This second tier is for the characters that I would consider middle of the pack. Mid. And I hate saying it that way because when you really think about it, I took an interest in them. I thought they looked cool. I chose to watch a YouTube guide and lab and play them. And there are hundreds of other potential characters in all these games that I could have done the same with, but I didn't. So just keep that in mind, because if there are characters that are considered mid here, then every other character in fighting games not on this list would be considered dog shit. And also keep in mind that I'm still enjoying my time with each of these characters because I love fighting games. But anyways, getting into it, these are my non-NRS / Arc System Works characters, and I wanted to include these guys because even though I'm not the biggest fans of these games, I was at least interested in these characters. So we've got Jamie from Street Fighter 6, Hwoarang from Tekken 8, Rock Howard from Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, and then Salvatore Ganacci Fettuccine Alfredo from Fatal Fury City of the Wolves as well. And I gotta say, quickly dropped 20 hours into Street Fighter 6, dropped Jamie, dropped the game. Hwoarang played a couple hours worth. I like his kicking, but Tekken 8 may not be for me. Rock Howard I played in the beta before the game dropped, and then Ganacci I played just this past weekend for the first time. And so I don't want to judge Ganacci too much or any of these characters since my limited playtime, but I will say that this character, Ganacci, is right up my alley as that goofy, whack-ass character with a unique playstyle, kind of like a joke on the roster. So he has a lot of leeway to climb these ranks, and also just in general, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves I don't think I had in my fighting games tier list, which I'm excited to see where that game goes. There's also Lancelot from Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising right here, a game that I didn't play too much of besides a week or two back when it first launched, so that's why he's here. I do think he's cool. This next group is all from Mortal Kombat 11, which is quite a few, and it's also my most played fighting game with around 500 hours. At the time, back in September of 22 and through the first half of 2023, I really enjoyed the weekly stints of looking up a new character guide and playing however many games with them until I was satisfied. But I think we can all agree that MK1 is pretty bare bones with its characters and gameplay, and the lack of sauce, along with me still being scrubby, means none of these characters can go that high. I will shout out my first main, Aaron Black. Watching Sonic Fox pistol whip everyone in the pro circuit was what got me into this game, and all of these characters had their moments. Terminator, cool design, but absolutely horrible at high levels. He did have the nutsack KB though. Kano, I mean, come on, forward 1-2, back 2 string. Let's move on. Shake my hand. Sub-Zero, absolute cringe. Holy shit, broken KBs, disgusting if you ever played him. RoboCop, loved the explosive sound designs on all of his moves, especially the sniper bazooka, but kind of lacked in the combo department. Rain, fast as fuck, insane movement, loved his strike throw game and all the dope water specials. And then the last is Shang Tsung, which they're kind of ordered right to left. I mean, I mainly in these tiers, I would group them, and then when you kind of get to the left side, that's where the higher ranking is, and then the right's the worst in the tier. But I'll talk about that more as we get deeper into these rankings. But anyways, Shang Tsung, he was one of my favorite characters in MK11. I thought that he was so sick. I loved his ability to control space and the soul steal. I also loved his raw boot kick KB from the forward 2-4-3 string. I mean, nothing beat that feeling of that raw boot kick. So I loved Shang Tsung, and I also just as a character, as a lore perspective, he's awesome. This next little group is from Injustice 2, and this was my favorite fighting game for years. There's obviously Black Manta right here, who as a character, non-gameplay wise, was incredible. All of his specials were cool and thematic, like the harpoon, the manta rays, the shark attack. Rising Tide was a lot of fun to use. I could spam his forward 2-1-3 string all day long, where he does the head bash on the helmet at the very end. Batman, I mean, what more can you say? His buttons and strings really gave you that Batman feel of beating someone's ass. Plus, jump over cross-ups for big damage. And then, for whatever reason, I don't have him here, but Red Hood and Captain Cold were also a little bit of characters that I played for a while. They're super cool, but I just didn't play them enough. And I think with Injustice 2, it lacks a few base mechanics in the game to really put them higher. And then this next group of characters are from MK1. So, can't see him here, but this is Kung Lao. And what a disappointment. A huge step down from his MK11 version. His down back 2 concussion special was great, and at launch I had a blast when I was labbing him without guides. But once the meta settled, this guy turned into a safe armored launching whore, and so I never played him again. And he just was piss poor neutral, just a absolutely miserable character to play. Definitely not the way that he was in MK11 or MKX. So yeah, that's why he's in mid. Sub-Zero, I played probably 20 hours of this guy when the beta came out, and I think he's cool. He's way better than what he was in MK11, but I hate myself for playing him, and I think he's got very creative combo structures nowadays with all the cameos. But yeah, I'm not the biggest. Like, I'm Sub-Zero over Scorpion, but I'm not a die on this hill Sub-Zero player. General Shao, not the typical archetype I go for, but I loved his 2 different stances and how powerful he felt. Shang Tsung, another letdown, another downgrade. His 2 stances are cool, but they felt weird to master, and he doesn't have the cheap stuff to compete in the meta. I do enjoy his old man stance, though, with the forward 4 string, plus all of his fireball infinites. And then last, or I guess there's 2 more characters. Ermac is insane. I mean, this dude's crazy. He has a million things going on with the cancels and the float stance. So much potential, but he's a little too execution heavy, and I'm not the biggest fan of Janet Cage cameo, which is sort of the go-to team. And then the last character here is Liu Kang, who I played early on. Discovering his throw combos with the Shaolin Monks team with Kung Lao was honestly amazing, and I really like the animations of his fireballs and little hand shuffling. There's just little details with him that I love, but nowadays he's pretty vanilla and he's more of a hardcore zoner. So yeah, and then this last character in the mid is going to be Chip from Guilty Gear Strive. Just being in Strive is already a strong selling point, but I don't know. Out of the 4 characters I've mained, Chip's felt the worst. He was fun to lab, and there's a lot of tech as usual with Strive, but when I stepped into the floor 9 trenches, where I'm normally pretty comfortable, I got choke slammed. Like, I'm not sure if I put in more time and was able to warm up on some floor 7 bots that I would still be playing him, but I definitely would have enjoyed my experience more. In the upper levels, though, all 50 games that I played with him felt super rough to figure out neutral, and his execution was way more difficult than I liked. It reminded me a lot of Rain from MK11, where, for whatever reason, just to get the damage and the combos you need on the bread and butters was way more difficult than an average Joe. But anyways, that's why he's down here. Just, he's cool. I like the rope and all of the offense that he can provide, but just there's a lot of rough edges around him, and so he falls into the mid tier. Alright, more heads getting chopped off here, but that's okay. This is the last tier before top 10, which is the almost top 10 tier, and the real honorable mentions. Starting off with Dante. Winter Soldier is also included as part of my team, but he's not on this list for whatever reason. This is from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and my team for the 2 hours that I played the game on the mod. They're both insanely cool, so is the game, but you just can't make my top 10 without some sweat equity. The next mention is going to be Kung Lao from MKX. Same story here, just not enough games to give him top 10, but this is the best version of Lao in the series, mainly because it's MKX and I love that fucking game. The other 2 MKX fighters I have in this group are going to be Cyber Sub and Tremor. Now, Cyber Sub is one of my favorite setup characters. He's super interesting, a fun combination of Triborg, Sub-Zero, and Cyrax. So he has those similar Triborg strings and animations, which I enjoy. He still has some Sub-Zero stuff like the slide and the dive kicks. And then he also has these bomb setups like Cyrax that create really wild situations. And I also love his sound design, and it's really satisfying. With Tremor, I'm exclusively talking about Crystalline, which is just so great. He has a bunch of weird strings and oppressive mix that allow you to absolutely wreck. His forward 1-2-1 string is disgusting. I love the pressure you can apply with all the rock cancels and flash parries, and the feel of it all with the crystal shattering sounds and the green glowing animations. It's all top notch. This next one is going to be Joker from MK11, who was a crossover fighter and was unbelievably awesome in this game.
Oh my god. That's just actually insane.
Why are we not converting that combo? The rollback! The rollback, Aiden!
Using a massive fucking crowbar to crank skulls, fantastic. But the main thing I loved was his neutral and space control. All of his buttons and normals have this amazing reach, and your entire game plan is baiting buttons and being a menace mid-screen. When you're finessing neutral and whiff punishing with forward 2 into a juicy KB, it's a godlike experience. And it's also an experience that I never tire of. Also, his down 2 is one of the strongest, noobiest things in the game, but it's also hilarious to spam as an anti-air and a combo ender and just randomly. Overall, really enjoyed Joker and MK11 and everything that they did with him. And then this next group is going to be Kai Keese and Axel. Excuse me. Kai Keese and Axel Low from Strive. Kai was my second main in this game, and I really enjoy his core gameplay of getting a hit, using Dire Clat as a combo ender, and then getting a hard knockdown, and having all those RPS situations that you can set up behind the charged stun edge. I also like the way his 6P feels and how strong it is. Dragon install is sick as fuck. all of his moves and combos in general look sick, like the full screen wall splat, thunderclap conversions, and all the lightning effects. Fantastic. If he wasn't so heavy on strike throw and he had a little bit more pizzazz, I would probably still main him and potentially have him higher with more games. And then Axel is my most recent Strive main, who I've been able to play for the last weekend or two, and I've already got almost as many games on him as I do with Kai, and I always thought his design was stellar. The scythes just do it for me, man. I don't know what to say. He also fits that box of being a weird, non-traditional character with unique playstyle. Like, the range of his buttons are hilarious, and you can lean into the zoning playstyle, but he also has some crazy sauce with his time stop super and all the Roman cancel trickery you can do. This character, like, out of all these that are down here, Axel Low is probably going to be going top 10 over time. I just need more games on him. But yeah, he's definitely up there for me in terms of like how much I adore him. He's amazing. And these last two are going to be from Injustice 2, which are Aquaman, who is my favorite superhero, and regardless of gameplay or meta, being able to play as him is like living out a dream. But do I think Aquaman is peak Injustice 2 gameplay? Not really. He's definitely strong, but you do any button or string in a Trident Rush and chip out. That's the entire game plan, and it's not my style. He could zone in certain matchups with Tentacle Strike, which was a super cool special move. Speaking of super cool, he has the coolest super in the game. Aquaman also has some deadly buttons because of the range of his trident, like the back 3 and forward 3. Those felt demonic to throw out randomly in neutral. And just the sound effects too. Good stuff. Now, I played countless games and hours with Aquaman, but the reason he's not in my top 10, besides the obvious issues with Injustice as a game, is the fact that I played lame and I zoned. And I didn't push him to his limits. So those hold him back, but hopefully we'll see him in Injustice 3. The other Injustice 2 character, and the final character before top 10, is Deadshot. I mean, you could really argue top 10, because he's let's just say it this way. He's probably the least likely to ever make it into my top 10 now, but when I look back and I think, who are my iconic mains, Deadshot's up there. Hundreds of games, countless hours, absolute dominance. This was my Deathstroke for Injustice 2, and I was a straight pervert with this character. I used max level 30 gear, I only played casuals and against people who were worse than me, and I usually zoned them to death. There was no better feeling than body bagging some random 10 games in a row, only for them to finally win one game and send me a passionate message about how I'm the biggest pussy in the game. I lived for that shit, and Deadshot's gameplay was also pretty addicting. I'd zone RPS you to death with all of his weapons, and then the moment you got in, I would hit you with the back 1-2 low overhead string, and I would either carry you corner to corner by staggering it, or I'd use the up 3 finisher to push you back so I can zone again. It was a vicious game plan, and I don't have much more to say about Deadshot. He's one of my most played and most successful characters. I love his gunslinger design and similarities to Deathstroke. If his combos were a little flashier and I pushed myself to expand his gameplay more, he could be higher, but Deadshot's still considered a legend to me, and I can't ignore how important he is to my history. Speaking of legends and history, we are at my top 10 favorite fighting game fighters of all time. And from one pervert to the next, MK11 Kung Lao. My second main on MK11. Take my early Aaron Black gameplay of spamming throws and just 3 exit. I developed the most despicable game plan of spamming Lao's 7-frame down 3 into throw, and I abused it. I was a demon on this character. Everything about Lao fit my playstyle. He was aggressive with great movement options like Shaolin Dive and Teleport. His buttons, his reach, his overall flow meshed really well with how I played the game, and I just had the time of my life. going for the crazy dive kick conversions, playing mind games with Spiritual Vortex, abusing strike throw and cranking skulls. I will say Lau is missing the 50-50s and command grabs, which hurts his offense, but he was my best performing main for a long time, and I always feel right at home with him. He also might be my most played character. I know I have at least 2,000 games with him, so a lot of sweat equity with this one. Alright, in 9th place, we've got Mortal Kombat 1 Rain, who feels like Aquaman if he was in Mortal Kombat. Not this typical sword user feel or bare hands feel, but Rain has this unique trident feel of having this disjointed hurt box and bizarre range and a weird sense of control. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like I am playing Aquaman. And the point is, I enjoy Rain in Mortal Kombat 1. His gameplay is what Aquaman should have been in the Injustice games. There are still specific things that I prefer with Aquaman, like his character design, his tentacle strike special, his super, the sound effects of it all. But Rain is offering so much more in terms of gameplay. I mean, this guy is a setup king. I love his all of his different set plays, whether it's like that mind game of the toilet bowl where you use Rain and Sub-Zero and you do any launcher into an aerial string and do the freeze, and you can either go for the hard to blockable with the toilet bowl, or you can extend it with the charged water beam. Both options feel fantastic, and it's a constant set play mind game, and he does that with so many characters, and including Janet Cage with throw combos and stuff. He's not a movement monster, but he has a ton of tools and setups and interesting set play, and he also has very nuanced tech like water beam cancels that make mastering him an absolute pleasure. He and MK11 Lau are definitely on the weaker end of my top 10. I could see them getting replaced by Axel and others real soon, but it'll take some time since I also have a ton of games, like probably 1,500 plus with Rain. So we'll see. 8th place, we've got MKX Erron fucking Black. What a sick character. Before getting into everything, I'll go ahead and get my only gripe out of the way. The 21122 dial-in string. I guess it's a staple for Erron since it was also in MK11, but it feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. The actual inputs of mashing that 211 to come out and trying to special cancel it during any string is annoying as condoms. Like, I can't emphasize how dog ass it feels. And you could say skill issue, which is fine. I just want you to know that it's a problem for me personally. But moving past that, Gunslinger Erron Black is incredible. That's my variation, that's most people's, and it's goated. I'd describe Gunslinger as a beautiful mixture of Injustice 2 Deadshot and MK11 Kung Lao. Just hear me out. His money shot special is almost identical to Deadshot's trick shot, and it's just as glorious. Better, even. And then like Lao, he has a multifaceted stance like Spiritual Guidance that gives him a powerful offense and lots of depth. There's also some specific things that I love. I love control, and I love that no matter where I am on the screen, I have options. I can full screen RPS you to death. I can float around in neutral with money shot and the stance gimmicks. I can play in your face and mix you with overhead low or command throw, which, by the way, coolest command throw ever. I can drop my nuts on your forehead in the corner, still have the mix, but also hit you with caltrops to stop you from moving. I can shut down any wake up. Basically, you're my little bitch. And that's the feeling of dominance that I want out of my mains. That's what MKX Erron gives me. He lets me play any way I want with all the style I want. And if Erron didn't feel as rough to execute, I would probably have him higher. But being top 10 is praise enough. And shout out Live Guys Erron Black. God damn. Lucky number 7 goes to MKX Bo Raicho. And Bo is hilarious, man. He's this very stubby, unsafe, mixed gimmick of a character. There's no zoning. You aren't really playing footsies. You're just trying to get them in a corner so the blender can fucking blend. Watching Sexy absolutely dismantle professionals with Bo is a god tier viewing experience. I love how unique his variations are. Dragon Breath gives you extra cool dragon specials that add massive damage or give you traps and corner setups. Bartitsu gives Bo a stick, but that amazing stick allows you to play more neutral with longer range, and some of the new strings he gets are absolutely mix insane. And then Drunken Master just does what Jamie from Street Fighter 6 does, but Bo did it first. So, I enjoy all the different variations and ways to play. I also love, and once again, like Aaron, I mean love, how they made him this goofy-ass character who farts and throws up everywhere, but they intertwined it with his kit masterfully. Like, if you trade away the fact that he's farting or burping or whatever, and you look at how everything works together, it's incredible. He's got these crafty setups where you do an enhanced fart cloud on knockdown, and then you go for a throw or mix option to pull them into the cloud for a free combo. And then you can do all these crazy resets or quick mix options because this guy has 50 fucking strings that are all whack. Like, he's got some mid overhead lows, high low low, overhead overhead, high low overhead, low, high low, ho low low low. I mean, you are not blocking this guy. The gameplay loop where you're doing neutral resets over and over, cycling 10 different strings and specials, creating disgusting wake-up situations, it's orgasmic, and it's hilarious. I can't tell you how many times I'm smiling or laughing my ass off mid-game when I hear the fart cloud come out, or whenever they get hit by the fart and I teabag before starting a combo up. I could spend forever, a long time, talking about Bo. But at the end of the day, I just love his design and how creative and fun his gameplay is. He's that goofy character I always liked enjoying when I'm on a game. And if you want to see what this guy's about, go watch this video. That's all you'll ever need. Johnny Cage is my Mortal Kombat main. I'll probably name my first kid Johnny. Across all the MKs, this guy is always my favorite in all these games. And if there's one compliment I can give, it's that Johnny's always the best feeling fighter. The animations, the nimbleness whenever you're walking, dashing, pressing buttons, everything feels right. Everything feels good. So that's the ultimate compliment I can give. Now, obviously, as you can see, I prefer MKX and MK1 Johnny more than the MK11 version, but all of them are very, very high up. To start with MK11 Johnny though, what a neutral monster. You're constantly dancing with the opponent in and out of danger, trying to find whiff punishes with the back 3-4. You have great advancing strings to control space and poke. His 1-2-1 string is orgasmic. Anti-airing with stand 1 is orgasmic. Rising Star Nut Punch are some of my favorite specials. And Johnny's B&Bs feel amazing. But the best thing about MK11 Johnny, the single most epic aspect of this character, is his Fatal Blow cancel. He's one of the only two characters, him and Joker, that have these fucking wicked Fatal Blow cancel combos that absolutely brick me up. They do naughty damage, they're hype, and they're insanely difficult to pull off. So that's why Johnny is where he is. His strike throw game is strong, his combos are satisfying, especially the Fatal Blow cancel ones, and he feels so damn good. Next up, I would give it to MKX Johnny in 5th place, and this guy is fantastic. He's got that MK11 Johnny DNA in the sense that he's all about mid-screen neutral, dancing in and out of danger, using force balls and advancing strings to dominate. Each variation is awesome and unique. The Fist of Cuffs variation has this super weird back 1-2-1 string that's practically an infinite in the corner. I remember thinking something was wrong with the game when I first watched DJT spam this on Sonic Fox and Tourney, and then I labbed it and was fucking mind blown. So there's that. He also has the stunt double variation that has a bunch of gimmicks and popular specials like Rising Star, but the variation I play is A-list. And the main thing with A-list is SKRCs, or Shadow Kick Run Cancels. So you can do any button or string into Shadow Kick and then cancel it, allowing you to steal turns, fake pressure, play mind games. You can also charge and delay specials, which adds to the mind games and the frame data. And he has the 1-2-1 string that you can also charge. Basically, A-list Johnny is a cancel monster. His forward 2-4 string is a thing of beauty. His conversions and B&Bs all feel incredible as usual, and there's a lot of other little details that I love too, like the sound bit and the animation whenever you throw someone, the curb stomp fatality and all that. But the main narrative here is that this Johnny and every version of Johnny feels amazing to control. Conversions, B&Bs, animations, everything feels godlike. And for whatever reason, I always find myself having the most fun and success with this character. So that's MKX Johnny. In fourth place, MK1 Johnny. And off rip, this is my favorite Johnny for a few specific reasons. The first is the experience. You just can't compare the time, success, and fun I've had with this Johnny versus the others. Another reason is game specific. MKX Johnny has a certain flow where you get a knockdown or hit with his force ball and then you can run up and throw or apply pressure, and that feels great. But MK1 Johnny has wave dashing. Right? So he wins. Because instead of running, you can do little dashes that make you feel absolutely cracked, and you'll do a lot of run up dash block or back dash mid checks that feel fantastic. And that core gameplay to me is slightly better than the run up RPS of MKX. But getting into MK1 Johnny, this guy is all rush down. You don't have any more force balls or ways to play long distance, but he has insane plus frames, and abusing his staggerable offense feels incredible. You just do 1-1 into backdash into forward 3 and you win. He also has a parry. He has great jump-ins. But the most interesting aspect of this Johnny, kind of like MK11, is this unique mechanic, which is his hype meter. It allows you to do crazy combos and conversions that break the rules of the game. And certain cameos really open this mechanic up, like Johnny Sub-Zero, which has become my favorite team in Mortal Kombat 1. But overall, MK1 Johnny, whether he's with Cyrax or Chameleon or Sub, he's super fun, and he's one of my favorite characters of all time. Let's talk about number 3, making podium, MKX Ermac. Now, the worst part about Ermac is that he's red. It's just not my color. But I will say that the original lore of Ermac becoming a character is fascinating. But getting into his gameplay, just like in MK1, Ermac is mechanically insane. He has 3 variations. We're going to ignore Mystic and Master of Souls. I've played a bit of both and they have their moments, but they're no Spectral Ermac, right? When Khaled 85 put me in a body bag with his 45% corner combo, I was mind blown. I thought it was the sickest shit. And after having played a few hundred games with Spectral Ermac now, I can say it still is the sickest shit. All the movement tech, the way his flight stance works, the ability to control space and float around anywhere on screen, the sexy ass corner combos when he's doing that little tappity tap tap punch over and over, the alien spaceball sound effects. I love it. And over time, I've realized that Ermac's moveset and playstyle is what I've always enjoyed. Whether it's MK11 Shang, MK1 Ermac, or MKX, they all have this ability to control space and convert off the most random stuff. They offer so much depth and mastery with the movement and float shenanigans. Spectral Ermac is the coolest Mortal Kombat character I've ever played, and I absolutely love his gameplay. Alright, in the Legends tier, as you can see, these two guys are far and above the rest. They are just that much better. And you thought that we were done with Johnny's, but I've got one more in me. Guilty Gear Strive Johnny is just so fucking cool. He's a rushdown that identifies as a zoner, and I love that about him. He has very large normals that allow you to control the screen and play defensively, but he also has tools to pressure and create some pretty diabolical offense. Basically, you get a knockdown, deal your card, pop Misfire on it to guard crush, and then you run up, RPS them to death. And I mean death. So I enjoy that as a core experience. I also like his Misfire tech and all the mind games you can play of, am I going to dash cancel forward into throw or tap dust, or even try to steal another turn, or am I going to dash cancel back to keep whatever I do safe? Just so much set play off that special alone. I love his 6K. It's made neutral insanely high because I bait buttons into that monster of a forward advancing kick. I love frame trapping different Gatling options with Insignia. I love how natural his combo routes feel and how much I'm interacting with Strive's mechanics. I mean, I am abusing my resources. Anytime I have burst meter or tension, I'm belt to assing you with it. If you think it's your turn after holding my block screen, I'm wild assaulting right back in. If you think it's your turn after blocking one of my 50-50s, I'm Roman canceling into more offense. I've had rounds where I literally pressure for like 30 seconds nonstop until you just explode on the wall. It's always my turn with Johnny. Remember that. And I genuinely believe this is the best fighting game character I've ever played. No bullshit. None. Johnny's unbelievable. All he needs is a gun and a parry, and he'd be the perfect fighting game character for me.
It took me 10 years to find the answer something I forgot about it in 2 seconds.
Speaking of perfect, I mean, guys, come on. Happy Chaos has to be my favorite fighting game character of all time. My original inspiration for this video was to be able to glaze the ever-living shit out of Happy Chaos. And over the last year, I can't tell you how many times I've changed the rankings or re-edited the script, but one thing has never changed, and that's Chaos being number 1. It's no secret that I like playing the villains, especially the gun-wielding kind. Deathstroke, Deadshot, Aaron Black, etc., etc. My reasoning is ineffable. I can't explain why I like the color blue besides the fact that it's blue. You give me a choice between a sword or a gun, I'm choosing the gun. Don't ask me why. Now, visually, right? Chaos is insane. The gunslinging messiah, the swag of the sleeveless jacket, the shades, it's all perfect. Lore-wise, he's got the Joker energy, that silly but menacing menace. I could glizzy up every tiny detail about Chaos from a non-gameplay perspective. He's godlike. But getting into his gameplay, it's also godlike. Chaos has been the most satisfyingly intense character I've ever fucking mained. My genius decision last March to not only learn a completely new fighting game, but to also start with the most difficult character in the game was the craziest experience and biggest challenge I've ever had with fighting games. Chaos is a goddamn monster in terms of complexity and by far the hardest character I've ever tried. You've got the mental stack of managing 2 resource bars, plus the physical stack of executing every aspect of his game plan. And this kind of fleshed out character design creates extreme highs and lows. It can be a miserable experience trying to learn Chaos and be successful early on. He's also very high maintenance. His buttons don't work the same. His combos don't work the same. So when you aren't playing him 24/7, you're getting chokeslammed. But I'd be to ever find a character that provides me with this level of happiness from the overall learning process and gameplay. Which, I know I've said gameplay and barely touched on it, but what else is there to say? Sure, shoot gun and win. Ha 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 ha. But it's not like that at all, you skinny scumbags. I think the Dustloop Wiki provides a perfect summary for the character. Pick Chaos if you like. A literal handgun usable at any time, allowing for absolutely everything from fighting and misleading blood pressure, best-in-class combo conversion ability, unseeable mix-ups, full-screen presence, and more. Pick if you like a unique style of resource management that requires actively taking back resources, not patiently waiting for them. Pick if you like switching between a pressive rush down and full-screen keep away. Pick if you like a diverse array of mix-ups and strange options. All of these points are exactly what make him goated. You can do whatever the fuck you want, as long as you have resources. That's the one critical detail that influences your decision making. But as long as you master resource management and play absolutely cracked at all times, you will feel like a literal god. And also, I just really enjoy his win con. Whip the pistol out, get a touch, combo their ass into a wall splat, super, then do it again with even more resources. It's a beautiful cycle. I could go on forever about Happy Chaos, but I'll wrap it up by saying I love this character. I've never been more invested in making a main workout than I have with him. The man is a legend, and I don't know if I'll ever find a fighting game character that resonates with me this well and entertains me this much. But I do want to say this really, really quick. When it comes to playing the character, actually playing the character, Johnny is my GOAT. Like, if I only had one character that I could play for the rest of the time, right now, it's probably Johnny and Strive. That's it for the video and ranking. Like I said earlier, there are so many characters that I wish I'd played more of because they would be a lot higher up. And over time, as I play more fighting games, my new mains will replace my old, and maybe it'll get to the top 3 where it'll be a harder decision as far as the best of the best. However, having said that, I honestly don't know if Chaos will ever be topped. He's that far above the rest of them, so we'll have to see who comes along. Thanks for watching. It's been Davis. It's been real. I'll see you on the next one.